Well, good morning, everyone. I'll move that mic a bit closer. Apologies if that made a little bit of a rumble. Okay. Ooh, I left that. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll move that mic a bit closer. Apologies if that made a little bit of a rumble. Okay. Ooh, I left that. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll move that mic a bit closer. Apologies if that made a little bit of a rumble. Okay. Ooh, I left that. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll move that mic a bit closer. Apologies if that made a little bit of a rumble. Okay. Ooh, I left that. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll move that mic a bit closer. Apologies if that made a little bit of a rumble. Okay. Ooh, I left that. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll move that mic a bit closer. Apologies if that made a little bit of a rumble. Okay. Ooh, I left that. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll move that mic a bit closer. Bingo. That should sort that out. So hopefully it's all working now. Sorry about that. I just got myself caught in a pretty spectacular audio loop because I had Twitch open in the background on this computer. Okay, so it should all be sorted. Right, let's crack on. I've done nothing to this tune since last time. We're just going to crack on with it and keep on writing. The last thing I did was put in this dub chords. I think I bounced that. But that's been about it. I think we should be there. And it would help if I turned it onto the right scene, wouldn't it? There we go. Hooray. Had a screw at the start of the stream. But we should all be good now. Okay. Wow. Such an amateur. Right. So what I did do yesterday was chuck together a little synth because I wasn't that happy with the Mojito, the actual sounds, and I chucked it together in Reactor 6, and I just very quickly used blocks. I'm almost finished saving. I'm going to jump in there, and it should be the top one, and there we go. It's an extremely simple synth. It's basically a 303 emulation. Nothing too flash about it at all. It uses a completely stock unit apart from this acid filter, which is available on the Reactor library. It doesn't cost anything. It sounds pretty good for a 303 filter. It can't do clean tones very well, but in terms of drive tones, it's pretty good. And I'm going to try and write a little pattern with that. As I say, I wasn't very happy with the actual this line here. It just doesn't do it for me. And I may well want another sort of acid line anyway. There's nothing particularly wrong with that, and I may keep it and use it for something else, but it's not really tickling the itch I wanted to scratch. So I'm going to try and get something on. And I had an idea. The one difference, really, the big difference between this synth and a 303 sound engine, not talking about the sequencer steps, but the actual sound engine, is that this is fully velocity responsive, whereas a 303 obviously is kind of full drive or full off drive. And the other one is that the envelopes don't stack if you don't let the envelope finish the decay stage. So in a 303, gradually, if you very quickly hit notes, it will gradually get higher and higher cutoff. That doesn't occur with this because the envelopes don't remember the position they're in. They go back to the start each time. which means it may be something to put into your reactor properly, because there's certainly envelopes in there which do remember the position they're in when you trigger them. So yeah, we're going to try and we've got to bear that in mind as we write this. So that's advantages and disadvantages. And we were starting on F. And I kind of have in my head a 2-bar pattern. Most of this is just pretty random stuff. And I'm trying to make it sound so it's predominantly on the upper note, which is why I'm doing a lot more of the top note. And we may drop this down an octave as well. But I want the end, the last 2 notes, to be on the upper note. And all of these notes, I want to have a lower velocity. Something like that, I think. So let's have a little listen to how that sounds. And we're just going to solo this for now and just work on getting the synth set up the way I want it to be set up. And something the 303 does is the velocity also changes the amount of drive you've got going on. And resonance. That's a bit much. Let's try it down an octave. I've used this oscillator because it allows me to go in between a saw and a square, which is quite appropriate for a 303 really, because the square wave in a 303 is constructed out of the saw wave, and it's not what I would call a square wave. It's certainly not a digital square wave. Also, I've changed the mode of the VCA to AC, which means it's removing the DC offset of the waveform, which means it will get something which looks a lot more like a 303 waveform as well. And that's getting to the sort of sound I wanted. Now let's make that a bit ruder. So I'm trying to make quite a hard acid line here, and I'd like some full-on distortion on that. I think I didn't mean reactor effects. I meant guitar rig 5. There we go. Might be a job for actual full-on distortion. Let's see how that sounds. A bit scratchy. I think that's a little bit crude for what I'm trying to do. So let's take that out and try an amp instead. And I'm going to go for the citrus again. And let's see if that gives us the sort of tone I'm after. I think the answer is yes. That's the sort of one. And I've got to be careful there because there's clearly aliasing going on and it's quite noticeable. I don't really think I can get much higher than that with this. I suppose we could jump up. That's better. Even again? I wonder if it's guitar rig itself which is actually causing the aliasing here. I think it was. That's better. Let's try getting a bit more drive in there now. I think that sounds definitely 303-ish. And so I don't want to go much higher than 75 or lower than 20. Okay. Let's expand that out a section. So that's a 16 bar patch and get the automation going on. And then we'll get some delay and some reverb in there. Now, where would you be? That's the one I left it on 20. That's definitely pretty acidy. And here we're getting that little classic 303 over the top sounds. Let's get some. Oh, morning burps again. Let's get some delay on there. No. And EQ. Again, remember, we're not looking for the cutoff. We're looking for what it's doing on the chart. And we need to be about there. And this is going to sound weird, but I kind of want... I'm going to see if this works. The advantage of doing this in Reactor is I can make anything go anywhere. So, what if... I actually changed what was going on in here and used the envelope controlling the filter as a modulation source in the oscillator. Nearly. We'll just leave it alone. I'll save that. Could almost be ruder still. I'll put in a bit of verb. Okay, so how do we get into this section? It's quite a sudden change. Kind of works. Let me check it more clearly. I also want to work on the introduction this morning. And I'm pretty happy with that. I might chuck that in again now. Automation. Okay, good. And maybe this sound will work better here. Just mute out this lead for a second because I'm not convinced I'm going to use that again. I think it does work better here. Which means I'm not going to need that extra lead. So let's try and figure out some kind of noise I can use in here. One of the things I like to do is use samples, this Aquasonics library I've got, which is all cymbals and weird hits and things like that. I can use that to make actual pads, moving pads, which move in unusual ways. So I'm going to try that this time. See if I can do that. Just one more quick listen to the acid. Yeah, that's working. Not bad. That took me maybe 10 minutes this morning. Maybe. So I will take that all day long. Cool. So yeah, back into Falcon. I swear I can hear something weird. It's a television. Everything's fine. I'm losing my mind. It's going to be one of those mornings. Lars, I've been producing music. I've been producing music for, I would say, probably the first tune I ever wrote was on a PlayStation 1, if you count that as music production, and I wrote that in probably 99. But then I didn't do anything for a long time. I probably got back into it in a big way in about 2001, 2002. And I've just gone from there, really. Been producing ever since. I've been, I don't know, I'd say I've sort of known what I'm doing for about the last 5 years. You never stop learning with stuff like this. It takes a long time to figure it all out. But when you do, it's all good. I think, there we go. Got a bad habit of crashing that channel. Hopefully it will behave itself now. We'll see. I'll just go through them. I had a lot of troubles when I was starting to stream this morning. So hopefully that will make them all behave again. Yeah, so I've been producing for about, I don't know, not 2 decades, but not far off. I had a few tracks released. Nothing substantial, but I haven't really been trying, if you know what I mean. But I've been a musician all my life. From a very young age, I've been producing music in a live capacity. That's kind of what I do. It's, my reason to be. So these samples I keep in my complete library for some reason. Probably because I also abuse these as well to make interesting interesting sound effects. I wonder, shall we go for cinematic stuff? Yeah, let's go for one of these. And so this is pretty simple. I hope my CPU holds together for this because this can get very, very CPU intensive. I'm going to put a little bit of all of these up. Size I boost right up because I don't want noticeable grains in the sound. I want it to be nice and smooth. Density I'm going to boost right up. Speed I'll take right down all the way to nothing. And I wonder if I can turn... No, I'm going to keep auto save on. Symmetry, you can play around with that and get very different sounds. I have a little bit of pitch variation. Fade I want 100%. A little bit of duration, a little bit of jitter. That's going to be about right. And I normally stay on a Hanning window. Okay, so let's make a repeating pattern with that. And you'll see this is very CPU intensive. That's in the wrong place anyway. It's going to be down at 65. I think immediately that this is probably quite a noisier sample, which is not ideal for what I want to do. I'm looking for something with more inharmonic frequencies. But we'll get it going if necessary. I just want this soloed out for now. I don't know, I think I can get something going on with that. Okay. So, obviously I need to boost that release a little bit. I'll stick on a Brickle filter to get rid of that bass noise. It's kind of really low down there's a bass noise which isn't going to work in my mix. So I'll use a Brickle filter here. Switch it on to high pass. I think like that probably. I'll put in a filter. So you see, this is almost like a pad noise. And if I modulate the pitch as well, then it's going to get quite interesting. I think an SVF will be absolutely fine for my needs here. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. And I want to use I'm going to assign to host automation, and I'm going to call that host 1, and then I'm also going to assign pitch to the same wheel, and then around here in info, oh no, I screwed that up. Clear modulations. There we go. That's gone to a macro. Now it's all on macro 1. So I can automate that now in show hide automation. I think it's going to be that one. No. Jump into the synth. I'll try and rename this. That should now work, I think. Yeah, it's switched it to macro 1. There we go. Kind of very strange, unpleasant sounds. I really want that in the background. I think what would be nice is if I sidechain compress that. There we go. So I'll try and modulate this more to get even more sound out of it. I think at the moment I'm stuck in one position, which I can certainly change. The DAW is Studio One version 3, and the synth I'm using at the moment is a synth called UVI Falcon, which is kind of part sampler, part synth. Very, very powerful piece of software, but not a particularly intuitive piece of software. Let's try assigning that to our modulation. You see how much I know this software fairly well. You see how difficult it is to get any kind of control over it. And there's too much modulation there. Right, now it's getting interesting. I think if I open up the SVF filter more from the start, and then I'll try and get a nice delay on there. I don't much like that delay. The actual program itself has got much better delays. So I'll get one of those on. I think that's better. See how it sounds. Just looking for real background noise. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to bounce that down to save on CPU because that really is heavy on CPU, that part. Transform to audio track. I do not want to render the inserts. Damn it. Did that wrong. Show height automation. I'll turn that into one big part. And I'll try again. Fine. That's all good. It's having a little think about that. It will get there in a second. I hope. There we go. Do you see? Yeah, that took a sweet time there. Didn't like it very much. That's fine. It worked. I'm going to duplicate that out as well. I think maybe that would be a good way. Oopsie. I think that would be a good way to actually start the whole piece. So where do I start? What bar? I've got stuff coming in at 17 really. That's going to be perfect. Let's see how that sounds. I'll turn that off. Okay, that can work. It needs a lot more, but it will work. So this section is still completely blank, from 17 to 33. Snare's a bit shit. I'm not a fan of that at all. I'll mute that out. That's all good. Reactor which is chewing it up. Good news is that's easy to fix. So I'm going to bounce this just to save on CPU. Merge those events. I'm going to transform that to audio track. I'm going to render the inserts on this one as well because it's not sidechain compressed. So it'll be nice and easy. And this should help save some CPU. Fuck you, Apple. Not helping. There we go. Let's check that worked correctly. I think it's a yes, and also bounce this one out. Okay. I'll have a little check in device manager. No, I think I'm okay. I think it's freaking out for no good reason. I think we're okay. There's nothing I can do about these TDRs, they're just going to be heavy hitters, unfortunately. I'm going to copy out the other percussion as well, so I'll copy that, I'll jump to 97 and then I'll paste that. And at this point I'm going to want something else. Nah, wrong one. Put that one across and then just draw it in the symbol. And I'll take this one as opposed to the one with the fill, draw that in and extend it out. And at 129 I think we're going to have our first breakdown. I'm not sure it'll be a full breakdown, but it will be definitely where we start that. Okay, that's good. I need more percussive elements at this point, I think. And probably a conga of some sort would be where I go with this. I'm going to extend that away. Okay, so that's made that section blank and I can work with it again. But I'm going to do this with samples and I'm going to do it in Contact. So I'll jump down into here. I need to move these up later on, but that shouldn't be a problem. And it's all going to be... where would it be? Where would it be? It's in the factory library. And there is my conga instrument. I don't want it to be producing a room reverb. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to move this up to where the other percussion parts are, which is there, and call it congas. And I can extend this part out as well. I just need to get rid of that cymbal hit on that one. That's fine. So now I'm going to try and write in a conga part. Snap to grid, it helped if that was turned on. And I'm going to work in 2-bar parts. you've got to be careful because some of these, what happens with a lot of the contact libraries is they're quite heavily programmed with terms and fields and things, and some of them they'll respond when you take off MIDI. So not what I'm going to do. I'll set that marker now to stop myself getting confused. I'm not convinced about the congas. Let's try something else. No, let's try timbale. That can work well. Immediately much better. I'll say that. I'm going to extend all of them out to a 16th because it's chopping them up something horrible. That's immediately better. I'm going to chuck this out, so now we're really sort of cooking. It's kind of off to the left hand side a little bit, which I don't particularly like. starting to get there. I'm just building in some variation. I'm pretty happy with that, considering I've done no EQ work to it at all. I'm going to hit this and make it a mono, and then take out some of the EQ. No. Pretty hard to EQ. And also I think on this a transient controller. It's very attacky. The font, they're fantastic. I love factory the contact library timbale. It's amazing. I'd say probably most of my drums, if not more. I use 808 and 909 samples, but hey, they're in Contact and battery too. But for world percussion, I use this incessantly. Let's get a bit of the old space echo on there, and then I'll try and get it into the room with a bit of a short reverb. I think I want much more than the short reverb. If I go for the long reverb, it'll turn into carnage. Like that. And now a bit of short verb. And I'll say that's seated pretty well. I can live with that. Going to take out the second acid line. I'll put that in manually if I want it. I think it's more likely I'm going to want those. I see how it works going into this section. It's still a little bit too much of the older bass on that. It's kind of confusing to start with when I hear it. What did I do with them? There they are. I'm going to rename that because that is not congas anymore. That is timbale. Okay, I'm going to take a little 5-minute break. I'll just be over there making myself a cup of tea. and have a little think. You know, I like to do it. I always have a little think. See you in about 2 or 3 minutes. Just making a cup of tea. Okay, back again. So I'm just going to work on this section basically. Crack on with that. And I think it's actually pretty confused, this first conga here. It's fine. I think it's fine now. In fact, I'm just going to keep it like that. I don't think the little, I don't know what you call it. Is it a flam? It's kind of, I don't think that was helping it at all. going to turn a couple of those TDR Novas into a different mode because they are absolutely chewing the CPU. I don't think we're going to hear a lot of difference. I think that should help it a little bit at least. Huge CPU usage, never mind. And I think I might add, on this timbali patch, I might put in something a little different. We're going to go for Reactor 6, which will immediately kill the sounds. I need to stop looping that. I'm going to get tired of it. And chuck it in there. And then I'm going to put in a instrument track. So I'm going to be sending a side chain signal into that Reactor 6 FX. I don't think Reactor 6 FX3, I don't think it'll let me rename. Oh, it will. Fantastic. The finger. So that should be nice and clear. I've got this, and I'm going to send that to the finger. I'll open up this reactor, and in the library is the finger. I'm going to load that up. I'll jump down into what do I fancy? I think screwdriver. Why not? Let's see what that sounds like today. So about every 8 bars I'm going to provide a little fill using the finger. Probably just for a couple of beats. And there's no way of knowing what it's going to sound like before you hear it. It's you just have to play with the MIDI until you get something you want. Los sounds. Oh, got that on global solo. I didn't mean to do that. Let's try now. No, it is working. I'm just picking wrong ones, so let's go for an E. I'm not sure I got it on the right preset here. It should be a lot more noticeable. So we'll change away from screwdriver. We'll go for techno science. Why not? I think I'm going to be able to get on with that a bit better. So now it's literally just a case of going through until I find a MIDI note where the effect I particularly like. And that is probably the easiest way of using this little piece of software. Yeah, how strange that can get. Let's see how that sounds in context. It's in the wrong place, but I can live with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at 105, I'm going to do one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do one at there too. Let's try to get some more pitch going on. I like that. So I'll jump back into this one. Duh. Some filthy stuff going on here. Quite subtle, but I think that will definitely spin a few people out if they're paying attention, which is what I'm looking for, really. Let's try that. Ugh. Crazy. Okay, so let's have a little listen to the whole section. My one could be better. I'm pretty happy with that. Something funny happens to a delay in there. And I think it's time for a bit of a we're going to go for a generic lead. And for this I'm going to open up massive, just because it's quick to work with. Although I don't like its bandpass, but it's quite configurable. I want a saw wave. I'm going to turn down all of these. Set up serial filter section as such. And I want envelope 3 going onto pitch of the saw wave. And we'll play with this to make it work and get it going onto the cutoff. In fact, I'm doing that the wrong way around. Okie doke. Make that a 2-bar pattern. No, I think I'll make it a 4-bar pattern actually. Yep, 30 seconds is perfect. So this sounds a bit rough at the moment. I'm just sort of plugging in notes with no specific strategy. But generally I'm going for a kind of syncopated feel, I would say. I'm trying to emphasise offbeats to some degree. I want to stop about there, give it a bit of space. And that's the kind of thing I'm going for, so I'm going to duplicate that out. And now I need to get my patch working. That's getting there. So now voicing. So now just to affect it. Kind of works better just as one saw wave, I think. Then again, I didn't realise I had 10 voices. Let's try a little bit of distortion. I think some digital lo-fi might work. I think I can get ruder than that. There we go. That's evil sounding. I think a bit of reverb in here as well could work wonders. I'm going to use this sort of reverb. I'm going to try and make it sort of a special effect reverb. Let's see what they got in here. Special. That's very close. That makes it sound like it's really close to the mic, so that's probably... weird. Let's try that. I think I want a little cymbal crash at that point. And also, I like to do a little bit of work on this kick drum. But I only want that one, so let's see if I can bounce that down. Track, audio, song, export mix down. Yeah, I can. I just want the kick. Just the kick. There we go, between loop, reserve mono tracks, import to track, real time processing. Yep, that looks about right. Let's see what happens. That's not actually going to matter for what I'm doing. Cool. Didn't seem to import it, never mind. Let's see if I can find it in the folder. Documents, Studio One, songs. Yeah, cool. Cool. I can work with that. So I just need one of these, just so essentially so I can process it really heavily and nastily. And this particular instance, all I want is one kick. And I'm going to duplicate that out so I've got like a channel where I can do effects and things like that on my kick drum. And the nice thing about Studio One with this regard is that I can assign effects to an event, which is super, super useful. I'm going to do a fade out of that, and then I'm going to add a guitar rig, and I'm going to distort this really heavily. Amp, I want a hot solo. Yeah, that's nasty. Really nasty sound. Let's take off the cabinet. Instant beef. Okay, so and I don't want any bass. Just that. And obviously that's way too loud. So I'll turn that sort of right down. I can always renormalize it, it's not going to be a big problem. And then I shall freeze it. Transform to rendered audio. Preserve real-time state. And I can't remember if this one had the same effect or not. Right, it does it. I didn't think it did. I thought I could set it so it was just there's the play overlaps. Whatever, I'll figure it out. That's all I wanted was this. So I'll normalize that. And then I'll be able to reduce the channel. I'll turn that up a little bit, just getting the mix right. Seems to have quite a lot of bass, which I like, but it's a little bit out of control. maybe around there. And I've kind of lost where I'm at in the track. That's good, so I did that halfway through. What happened to this? I seem to have lost something completely here. What's happened? I've disconnected it from its... There we go. Need something here. That's working for me there. I'm going to tick play overlaps on that, and then I'm going to duplicate that out. And obviously this is nowhere near finished at this point. What I'm really doing is sort of giving myself bits of idea to work with. And gradually I'll turn it into something that works. Something wrong with the bounce on that. That should be ostentatious enough. Not sure how I screwed that up, but I did. And what this might be a good time for is I had this noise which wasn't really working. So I can bring in some of these noises that I kind of felt not sure about that there. I can now sort of bring them in. Ooh. And try them here. So even though it didn't work back there, maybe now it will work. Still not sure, but I'm still not going to throw it away. Let's try that there. We're just seeing how it feels. We're not sort of committing to it in any sense. I think that could work. I don't hate that there. I'm going to mute that one though. So what else did I cut out? Oh, there was this massive lead. And that had real potential, I felt. And some pads from Largo. Let's turn them back on. So that's Largo 4. And that will be hard switched off, I think. Yeah. Let's see how it sounds. Something I can work with there. One day I am writing you a song, honey. Okay. In terms of flow, I'm not sure how we're doing. It's a bit kind of history sections. No, they need to go off. I'm glad you like it. What can I say? If you don't dance, you don't know whether people are wanting. I'm not sure about this section. That part. Something fucked there. Thanks for following me, Duende. Much appreciated. I'm not happy about that part. There's something wrong with the bounce down, so I'm turning it back to MIDI. Even though my CPU can't really handle it. That's better. This is what I was looking at. I want to know why this thing sounds so weird. struggling a bit to get this one sat in the mix right. To kind of... I haven't got any. Haven't got any. Love to. I'll duplicate that out to give me something to work with on the breakdown. So now it's time to write the breakdown. Which is where it gets difficult. I'm gonna have to play with MIDI and make it not shit. Which is difficult. I'll remember you, Duende. Don't worry. You'll be my 13th follower. I always say follower 13 was Duende. He's the one who made the difference. I'm loving the little kick drum. Just distorting itself quietly in the background there. That's nice. But it does give me a little idea. Huh. It's getting there, but it's going to take time, this one. And I'm going to get very sick of that melody very quickly. I don't use auto-tune. I sing. I won't be doing that today. My voice is very sore. I don't use auto-tune. This is just beats at the moment. If there's singing to be done, I will be doing it. Or I'll be getting the stream to do it if it's busy enough. But there will be no auto-tune. I love Guerra. Anyone who says I don't love Guerra, I think they're probably lying. Deep down. Deep down. But no. It's there could be vocals. I do progressive trance as well. I've got nothing against vocal trance. I think it's fantastic. I listen to it all the time. All the time. But at the moment, this is just beats. Yeah. I produce vocal stuff. That's not a problem. I can do that. But with my trusty blue microphone, this computer's a bit loud. But yeah. I don't use auto-tune. Ever. At all. I do use Melodyne slightly, but I try really hard not to. I hate auto-tune. Not today. Okay, that is me done for the day, I'm afraid. I'm all out of time. Out and about. I might have another stream this afternoon, something a little bit more impromptu. But during the day, thank you for watching. It's been fun. I hope to see you again soon. And maybe you'll even get to hear me sing. But not this time. Until then, any questions, anything at all, come check me out on my YouTube channel. You can pose me any questions, any technical questions or advice if you've got it to give. That's very welcome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time, which may be this afternoon, or if not this afternoon, then definitely tomorrow between 9 and 11. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.